It's a new weekly web show airing every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. Let me introduce my guest host. I have Reuben Bresler.
How you doing?
Erin Campbell. And we are here to kick off and show you a preview of what this show is kind of going to be week to week. And we start with a blast from the past. And what we're doing here is we're going to take something from the past, kind of bring it up, talk about it. And in this one, we're going to talk about our best GP moments with like the largest GP of all time, not close, about to happen, breaking all the records for the TCG attendance. It's time to talk about our best GP moments. Reuben, you want to kick us off?
Sure, and this sort of came about because of a recent thing on Channel Fireball with Matt Costa and a couple of the other writers talking about my Magic history. And so I wanted to share a memory of mine from my Magic past, which is in Grand Prix Chicago in 2009. Okay. So Grand Prix Chicago 2009 was a legacy GP. And it was the first tournament that I played Imperial Painter, a deck that I later became known for. And the reason why was because I did so well at this GP. Mm-hmm. So, and I'd always sort of been obsessed with Painter's Servant. As soon as it came out, I would try to make Grindstone decks Legacy, and then I tried to make like Shift in Reality or whatever the color changing blue enchantment was, decks, and this was during my casual phase also.
You don't say.
Anyway. Yeah, of course. So,
wait, you left your casual phase? You outgrew your casual phase?
I pretend to be a serious player, but in reality, all I want to be doing is just 2-card combos all day. So I have this list that I think is great, and I bring it to the tournament, and I show people my deck, and they're like, "You have 4 active volcanoes in your deck." I'm like, "Yeah, that card's great." They're like, "No, it's not. It's not good." I'm like, "All right, I'm just going to play them anyway." Yeah. You have 4 telekinesis or a pyrokinesis in your sideboard. And I'm like, "Yeah, goblins." And they're like, "And nothing else." Yeah, but anyway, so I played this deck in the tournament, and I have 1 bye, and I lose round 2 to red-white things. And then I don't lose another match until round 4 on Sunday. Yeah.
So you made day 2.
Oh yeah, I ate ones day 1, and then
nice.
day two I beat Richard Feldman, Ben Weinberg, Michael Jacob back to back to start my day. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty gross. And then I lost a lot in a row. The worst matchup for the deck is Storm, and I played that in the last 2 rounds. I needed to draw one of those, or I needed to draw the second to last one. Wait, I need to win the second to last one to draw into top 8. Or win the last one to get top 16 to get on the Pro Tour, and I lost them both because Storm is rough. But that was a great memory, and looking back on it, I had a hell of a time. And it's to this day, I got like 28th or something. It's my best GP finish ever. So that was a fun time for me.
Sweet. So I came back to Magic in Darksteel. And kept getting into Magic a little bit further as Darksteel became 5th Dawn, and then Kamigawa was like my jam, and I loved Kamigawa. I played the crap out of it. I mean, I sort of just came back to Magic. I was like, oh my god, like Magic is so much better than it used to be, and I loved what it used to be. So it's just more of that. And of course, I didn't really sort of get historically how bad Kamigawa was. All I know was I tried to beat Affinity with not Affinity, and that was stupid. And as a result, I lost a lot and got frustrated a lot, but I still love Magic, so it didn't matter. Anyway, so I finally got to play in a PTQ, and I top 4'd it, and that was my first PTQ ever, and everyone's like, "Oh man, top 4." I'm like, "Is this okay?" And so then I decided to go to GP Detroit in, I think it was 2005. And first GP, first sort of big Magic trip with my buddies or whatever, and we go up to Detroit, and I have a really sweet sealed pool, makes lots of snakes, lots of really cool interactions. I have a Kabuto moth or 2, which is always good, because that card was completely ridiculous with damage on the stack.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I'm telling you, right?
Damage on the stack.
Yes.
That's dating yourself right there.
I know, right? So I'm at the end of day 1, and I have the most ridiculously intense match to just try to just make enough tokens and just kind of live long enough and just kind of get there, and just in the last 5 turns just get that win to make me on day 2. And I get to day 2, and I promptly go 0-2 draw. And then I'm calling home. And I'm like, honey, like I don't think I'm going to be doing very well. I just want to go home. I feel terrible. Like my draft that just got done is like mono blue ninjas. What is happening in my life? So I win my first round after that. I win my second round after that, and then I'm playing Star Wars Kid, Chris McDonald, I think, or Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, so he was known as Star Wars Kid. That was his nickname. Anyway, he was very good at Magic, and I'm me, and so he. Like, we played just an epic game. He had a fantastic deck, and my deck was just all tempo and bounce spells and ninjutsu, and I just got there, and I made, I think it was like 18th place. I eventually took home something like $800, and it was just like the best, most fulfilling thing ever to go 0-2 draw to 3-0 to making that much money, because that's when they still had the amateur prize, and it was my first ever time, playing in a big event or whatever, so I got like an extra $500 on top of the 300 that I got to go home with. And so that was a really sweet experience, and that sort of, I played a ton of Kamigawa Unlimited, so I really knew that format, and, it sort of shows that even if you feel really bad about something, you can still kind of make it there at the end. It was just a ton of fun. Absolutely amazing. Erin, tell us.
Awesome.
Tell us.
Well, when Reuben was telling his story, I realized that GP Richmond was the first GP I played in, but I'd actually been to a GP before that one. My first GP was GP Chicago when it was modern. I think it was 2012, 20...
Yeah.
It was at Navy Pier.
2013 or 2012, something like that, yeah.
Right, and I wasn't playing Modern at the time, but my boyfriend lived in Chicago, so I went to, it was just a two birds with one stone kind of thing. And I'll never forget, I had just started the deck tease, and if you've never been to Navy Pier, it's very short and it's very cramped. So if a lot of people are trying to get through the hallway, it's this agonizing, you're literally just marching in this slow crawl down the hallway. And I'm a fast walker, so of course I hate slow walkers. So I'm going down this hallway, and I'm bitching. Can I say bitching?
You've already said it.
I'm bitching. So I'm just like, so they're just, we're crawling. And I'm like, God, these people just walk so, could you walk faster, please? I'm saying this in my head. And there's a guy in front of me, there's a couple guys in front of me, and I step on one of their shoes, like their heels. And I'm like, so he turns around, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really not sorry. And he turns around, and he has a shirt draped over his shoulder, like a V-neck over, just draped. And stitched on the shirt is the name Luis Scott Vargas. I stepped on LSV's heel.
Oh, I thought you stepped on somebody's heel that stole LSV's shirt.
No. Nice, so at that point, I'm like, you're I just... yeah. And so I'm just like, oh, and I just wanted to run, but I'm behind him, and it's so cramped, I can't just hide, I can't go back, I have to see this through, I have to go in the direction everybody else is going into. So at that point, I just start blabbering. I'm like, you're LSV, and I love you, and I would love to have you on my show sometime, and he turns around, he's like, you going here too? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Or just start freaking out. And he's like, do you play Modern? What are you playing today? I'm like, no, I just play Standard. I'm not ready for Modern yet, LSP. And I'm queening out so hard. And just trying to backpedal that I don't want to be the one who stepped on LSV's foot. So finally we get in the hall. And of course, the line disperses. We go through the hall, and I'm just in awe of the whole thing. Like, I'm seeing people who I'd never seen before and who I've only dreamt of seeing, and just the sheer, magnitude of it all. It was just like, oh my gosh. And I was really big into, I think Innistrad block was going on, and I was trying to make Splinter Fright happen. Don't judge me.
A lot of people did.
Kibler had advocated Splinter Fright, so I had Kibler sign my Splinter Frights, and I met Conley Woods, and I queened out on him a little bit. And it was just so, like I said, just the sheer magnitude of it just blew me away. And even though I didn't play in the main event, I really appreciated just being there. And so as the GPs have gotten bigger, and there has been more of this push to turn them into almost cons, I remember that. Like, I remember being that. So people say, well, you should go just to play the main event. There's so much more to do even if you don't play the main event. And I always tell people that even if you don't do that, go.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you don't think you're good enough, just soak it all in. Just see it, because it really is unforgettable.
You can't not.
And you probably are good enough, too, is the other thing. Like, GPs are so massive that the odds of being the worst person in the room are very low.
The bar is a little lower depending on where you are in the world, but,
Right.
Like, ultimately, it's just so much magic everywhere. It's like, if you like the game, it's literally has every facet that you like about the game. There's the artists, there's the vendors if you're looking for stuff, there's the side events if you just want to grind those all the whole time. You got the whole main event. There's all these pros and all these celebrities that you've never met before. Like, it's always a good time. And the ability for us, or ability for anybody really, to just kind of just show up and just hang out and trade or something, or just like battle casual, because it's just really nice to be in that environment. That's really sweet.
Yeah. GP Vegas is going to be my second GP Vegas, and I don't think I'm playing in the main event this time around. There's just like so much other stuff happening that week. There's World Series of Poker events. I've got my parents are coming in that weekend because my dad has a conference at the Caesars. So there's just like so much other stuff happening that I am just not. I don't even think I'm going to play in the main event, but I'm certainly going to go and play in as many side events as I possibly can, and go hang out with as many of the people that I'm friends with and are acquainted with, or don't even know and sort of only talk to on Twitter. It's just a spectacular, event, and something the size of Vegas is just going to be that much more special.
Yeah, and
it's also great.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, it's also great for people like us who are content providers and personalities, because we get to meet our fans and meet our listeners, and it's difficult when you have, I
got my
listeners.
Evan Irwin tokens that I want signed.
Yeah, but I'm not going to Vegas.
But some of my most memorable experiences lately have been meeting listeners and having people, ask me to sign things, which blows me away because I'm only a podcaster. And, it's funny because when I first started going to GPs, I was the type of person who thought you only go to play. Why else would you go? There's nothing to do there. And the more that I play this game and the more entrenched I get in the community, I go more for the love and I go more for the social aspect. And that's what I can't get enough of. I want to be around my listeners. I want to be around my peers. And I just, I love that feeling so much.
When you're just kind of like literally like drenched in the culture. Like the culture is
Yeah.
literally every part of the room is a magic thing. Something's happening. It's fantastic. So anyway, I want to wrap this up. Thank you guys very much for watching. We're going to be back every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. We want you guys to join us for Magic Mike's and for Evan Irwin and Reuben Bresler and Erin Campbell. We need a good outro, and we'll figure out what that outro is.
and intro, and
I need a closer. I need
us.
that closer. And we'll see if the community can give us a little something in terms of like how we want to close it, because anything I make up right now is going to be super crazy cheesy, and I got enough cheese in my life. I got a lot.
Wow.
I'm from Wisconsin. I don't need any more cheese.
I saw what you did there. All
cheese
right.
is great. Is this a podcast about cheese now, or?